Google Fiber recently became available in my area, so of course I had to sign up. After signing up for service and waiting about a literal 3 weeks for them to run fiber cable from across the street to my house and the actual installation of the fiber jack, I was ready to rock and roll. The installation service let me choose which room to put the fiber jack in, and the technician spent about 2 hours running optical cable through the walls and the attic of my house. What's pretty cool is that the fiber jack and the network box that I received for my service are included with my monthly service fee, so there is no real separation of those two pieces of equipment on my bill, and they don't appear to have any additional cost because I guess it's built into the monthly service fee. The network box's job is to take the signal from the fiber jack and split it into two different sources. One of the sources will be for TV service, and the other obviously for internet/networking services. The network box is also able to serve as a router and can give any of your non-Wi-Fi systems internet connectivity. The fiber jack is where your optic fiber line is converted into a signal that can be transmitted over copper Cat5e cables. Now you could use Cat6 cables, but you should note that Cat5e is what they will give you from the fiber jack to your network box or your personal routing equipment. The fiber jack can be powered either via micro USB or power over Ethernet. I'm using an iPhone USB charger to power my fiber jack because the Unify USG does not provide PoE power to the fiber jack. If you wanted or felt like you needed to see less cable sticking out of the fiber jack, you should consider getting a PoE injector similar to this, or any other injector that is 802.3AF compliant, so that way you only have a network cable running to the fiber jack. Another cool thing about the fiber jack is that it can also act as a Wi-Fi access point, which can be configured at fiber.google.com. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how we would do that and also manage our service. In my account manager, I can pay my bill and change my plan settings if I wanted to add TV services or even increase or decrease my bandwidth, and this is the place I would obviously do that. If we view a statement, we can also see all of the credits Google has given back to me for any of the outages or service disruptions that I apparently encountered, which is pretty badass if you ask me. Moving on from here, we can go to Network to manage our device and Wi-Fi settings. I named my fiber jack Office because it's in the old SPX lab office, for lack of better words. From here, we can also observe the estimated bandwidth that I am paying for. Next, you can see that I have turned off the Wi-Fi capability that the fiber jack provides and changed the SSID and default password just in case the Wi-Fi isn't really off but is hiding its SSID. As far as I can tell, the Wi-Fi is not broadcasting any signals at all. Finally, from here, we can also run some speed tests. Let's take a look at a Google speed test and see what Google says I am currently achieving. Not bad. 9 millisecond ping, 927 megabits per second down, and 861 up. I like that. Let's go ahead and check out fast.com and see what I might achieve with Netflix's servers versus Google servers. As you can see, it's not nearly as close to 1 gigabit per second for download, and it's pretty poor for upload at only 290 megabits. That's kind of disappointing. Let's go ahead and take a look somewhere else. And as you might have guessed, we'll do that at speedtest.net. As we can see, speedtest.net claims I'm doing better than fast.com, but also slightly worse than Google's own speed tester. Pretty interesting. Now for a real world test, I'm using air quotes here, I decided to download Grand Theft Auto 5, which gave me a peak download of about 504 megabits per second on Steam. And from Steam, I've seen about as high as 600 megabits per second when downloading other games, but generally I would say that most games give me an average of maybe 300 or so megabits per second, and I haven't really seen anything too much higher than that except in this one particular case. Finally, the last thing I want to show you guys is a video being uploaded to YouTube. Now this video is 3 gigabytes in file size, and it took about 5 minutes to upload, and this is all approximate, of course. Unfortunately, I failed to actually capture the true upload rate, but we could do some basic math to figure it out. Unfortunately for you guys, I'm also lazy, so just taking a guess at things, I'd say it's around 100 megabits per second upload given that it took approximately 5 minutes to upload the video. Despite having great upload and download speeds, my overall experience with Google Fiber has been okay. I could definitely be happier with their service, and some of the reasons why I say it's just okay are because I experience frequent lag spikes, especially while gaming, and in rare occasions I'll totally get dropped from a multiplayer match. I also suffer from inconsistent upload and download speeds, which is pretty annoying, and most annoyingly, browsing the web can be very poor at times, where pages will take several seconds or more to load, and also there are some times when websites don't even load at all, and the only way to get them load is by refreshing the page manually via F5 or the refresh button in Firefox. So because of these problems, I did do a little research online to figure out how I might be able to improve my connection, and some people suggested setting up VLANs on the USG from Ubiquiti. So I followed some other people's instructions on how to do this, but it didn't work out for me because I ended up losing my connection to the internet altogether. And some people pointed out that the instructions seem to be very area dependent and service dependent. So if you have a combined TV and internet service, changing your VLANs and setting VLAN IDs may or may not work for you. So if you have a USG and Google Fiber at home, your mileage will definitely vary here because in my area, setting a VLAN ID does not work at all, or even a VLAN for that matter. So in conclusion, Google Fiber may not especially be great, but it still manages to be the best compared to every single provider I've ever had in the past for a cheaper price. I pay $70 for service and get full gigabit up and down with no bandwidth caps, no QoS, no throttling, or traffic shaping as far as I can tell. And that makes it pretty valuable, especially when you consider that I was just recently paying $90 a month for 300 megabits per second down and 20 megabits per second up. And there was a data cap of 1 terabyte, and of course there was throttling if I ever actually reached that data cap. Even though Google Fiber service may not be perfect, I still hope it's available at the next place I live after I move out, because for the price you pay and what you're getting from their service, I think it's really hard to beat. But I guess we'll see what other providers will have, and I'll definitely keep my options open after I move. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.